Astronomers have found one ring to rule them all, not in the land of Mordor, but around Saturn, our solar system's Lord of the Rings. When it comes to beautiful planets, Saturn is clearly at the top of the list. It does accessorize better than anything else in the solar system, which is something even Galileo was aware of. Nearly 400 years ago, using his small telescope, he noted Saturn had changing lobes on either side. It would be many decades, however, before astronomers began to understand these to be the ring system we know today. You might say we see Saturn as the Lord of the Rings of the solar system. In that case, astronomers using NASA's Spitzer Space Telescope have just discovered the one ring to rule them all. In a patch of sky pretty far out from Saturn itself, Spitzer detected this telltale band of infrared light. While the image covers only a small area, it reveals a segment of something much bigger, the largest ring ever seen around Saturn or any other planet. How could such a large ring remain a secret for so long? While it is huge, the ring is insubstantial. Its diffuse particles are dark and reflect very little visible light. You could compare it to Tolkien's story of the Lord of the Rings. The Elvish script identifying the One Ring of Sauron only becomes visible when it's heated in fire. This largest ring of Saturn was only discovered from the glow of its heat in the infrared. It's amazing just how big this ring is. Starting 6 million kilometers from Saturn, it extends outwards about 12 million more kilometers. If you could observe it with infrared vision, it would be huge, about as wide as 2 full moons. To paraphrase Tolkien, it's truly one ring to dwarf them all, and its darkness solves a 200-year-old mystery about the moon Iapetus. For the Spitzer Science Center, I'm Dr. Robert Hurt, reminding you there's a hidden universe just waiting to be discovered.
Thanks to the World Wide Web, I've been following the progress of Cassini-Huygens from the time it was launched several years ago. As you know, I have more than a passing interest in Saturn. Cassini is going to come within a little over 1,000 kilometers of Iapetus.
Cassini has also had its first close look at Iapetus, a satellite with one face as black as asphalt and the other as white as newly fallen snow. Bisecting Iapetus's dark side, Cassini has discovered an incredible ridge of ice that runs over 800 miles along the Moon's equator and contains mountains 3 times as high as Everest. Elsewhere on Iapetus, Cassini's cameras capture the aftermath of a huge landslide that partially obliterates the floor of a great basin, ringed by walls of ice over 9 miles high. Later flybys of Iapetus will bring us views up to 100 times sharper.
More than 40 years later, I can't remember why I placed the Saturn monolith on Iapetus. At that time, in the early days of the space age, Earth-based telescopes couldn't show any details of this celestial body. This is a particularly exciting moment for fans of 2001, A Space Odyssey, because that's where the lone astronaut, Dave Bowman, discovers the Saturn monolith, which turns out to be a gateway to the stars. Science projects are tremendously important for our understanding of the solar system.
Pac-Man has been spotted orbiting Saturn. The Cassini science team took infrared pictures of one of Saturn's moons and found that the temperatures on the surface look a lot like the 80s arcade character.
Look, it's Pac-Man. Well, not really, but NASA spotted the shape on thermal data from Tethys, one of Saturn's moons.
This is actually the second time Pac-Man has been spotted around Saturn.
It's something big, something strange, and something never seen in the universe before. Saturn, the solar system's most bizarre yet beautiful planet, has just gotten even more mysterious. In 1979, the Voyager spacecraft showed a perfect geometric form over the North Pole. In October 2006, the Cassini craft found that it is still there.
It's just bizarre, and it sits there kind of still. It doesn't move with the planet. The pole, there's a hexagonal feature, a 6-sided polygon that encircles the pole at about 78 degrees north latitude. And it's sitting there as a set feature.
The hexagon is similar to Earth's polar vortex, which has winds blowing in a circular fashion around the pole. Saturn's vortex can fit 4 Earths inside of it and extends 60 miles deep into Saturn's clouds.
And And what's more bizarre, Voyager saw little tiny clouds going around at about 100 meters per second, which is about 200 miles an hour, going around this racetrack. People thought, well, maybe it's just a temporary thing. How could this stay there? It's been there now for at least 20 years, and we're going, what is this?
Richard C. Hoagland talked about the hexagon 10 years ago, maybe 15, Richard, wasn't it?
Do I get the second hour?
You, not yet, but you'll get back.
It was 15. 15 years ago, I had the privilege of standing in the Dag Hammarskjöld Auditorium, which, by the way, has 195 seats, which I thought was kind of interesting. And I had to do 2 back-to-back presentations because there was not enough room, and we had to do 7 hours total, which we taped. And in fact, that old tape is available as a DVD from the Enterprise Mission. If you go to our Enterprise Mission website, the link is at the top, and I'll give out an 800 number in a little while if George lets me.
Yes, he will.
Okay, but the most remarkable thing is that this was taken, this image of this extraordinary geometric figure has been known since 1980, since the first Voyager flyby. What was astonishing to everyone then, and what is astonishing to me now, is that it's still there. This is what all the excitement is about, because the new Cassini mission, which is this incredible Greyhound bus-sized spacecraft that has Saturn now orbiting, not flying past, but orbiting, took some really amazing 12 days of infrared photography, far infrared, which is the heat radiation coming up from the interior of Saturn, over a 12-day period, and they made this movie, which is going to be on the extensive, article that I'm working on right now for the Enterprise Mission website, which is not quite ready because, George, you kind of, got to me a little sooner than I thought you were going to.
I couldn't wait. I told you earlier when this thing broke and you and I started conversing, I was going to look for the hole to get you in fast.
So we have a hole on Thursday night, okay?
So we have the hole.
Anyway, by tomorrow I'll have this probably posted, and there's some amazing photography, synoptic, different wavelengths, different levels. This thing, George, is kind of like the Rosetta Stone. It's the key to so much of what I've been discussing with you and Art going back, before I did the UN, about hyperdimensional physics and how the solar system really works. And I'm really kind of amused to see the NASA people saying things like, well, we can't understand it.
Yeah, it's
just baffling.
It's bizarre, they say. But I've got to ask you, Richard, what the heck is it?
Well, first of all, the clouds we're looking at are not solid features. Saturn is one of the gas giants, so there's no solid surface. You're not looking at mountains or valleys or whatever. You're looking at an incredibly big, dense, fluffy atmosphere. And this set of hexagonal lines, 6 sides, perfectly straight, centered on the pole, with an interior hexagon inside the outer one, is about 25,000 kilometers across. You could put 4 Earths side by side across this thing and just touch each edge, each side. And it's made of clouds. It's made of ammonia clouds. And what's really cool is to see in some of the infrared shots that just as we saw in 1980 with the Voyager visible light imagery, we're seeing that the clouds are racing backward, George, along the edges of this hexagon at over 300 miles an hour, and they're making the turns, the 60-degree turns at each of the corners. I mean, this is just so phenomenal for a fluffy, insubstantial atmosphere of gases and clouds. I mean, no one can imagine, certainly not at NASA, how this thing works. Well, I did at the UN 15 years ago, and I stood up there and I laid it out. It's all about hyperdimensional physics.
I mean, it is absolutely mind-boggling to think that a cloud pattern on top of a pole of a planet could have that kind of shape to it and stay there for so long.
Well, that's the really cool part. Nobody except us apparently expected this thing would persist. I mean, when we first saw it, I realized that it was another part of the puzzle, the connecting the dots with the whole hyperdimensional model, which predicts very nicely why you have huge cyclonic features near the equator of these planets at 19.5 degrees, why you have volcanoes with lava coming up from the outer core of the Earth on Earth at 19.5, which is the big Hawaiian volcano, why you have the largest volcano in the solar system, ancient and fossilized and a huge pile of rock on Mars at 19.5, because rotating planets are literally able to create force structures inside. These are standing wave patterns, which allow for energy to come up at these preferred points. And one of the signatures is 19.5. The other, if you have the right dye in the stream so you can see it, like the atmospheric ammonia in Saturn's atmosphere, is this incredible hexagonal feature precisely located around the north rotational pole of the planet Saturn.
Will it ever dissipate, Richard?
No, no. It is permanent. As long as Saturn exists, this will be there. So it's going to be there for a lot of study during the Cassini mission, and I imagine during the extended mission they will crank the orbit up again into this quasi-polar orbit, which is at a very high latitude looking down on the north hemisphere, which, by the way, you can't see the northern hemisphere right now because it's in darkness. Saturn is tipped about like the Earth. It's tipped about 25 degrees to its orbit. We're tipped 23.5. And so the northern hemisphere of Saturn, particularly the poles, is in winter right now. It's not going to get sunlight for another couple of years, so they can only look at this thing and monitor it with the infrared, and the infrared is penetrating deep in the atmosphere, although on a planet which is 60-some thousand miles across, 50, 60 miles is not very deep, but it's deep enough for them to see, again, they're not expecting this, that this thing has multiple layers, that the hexagons go down, kind of like one of those nested Chinese puzzle boxes.
Yes, exactly.
And it goes down in toward the core of the planet, which, of course, is intrinsic to our model, because all of this geometry, all of these standing waves, all of this patterning is due to the energy coming up from the center of Saturn, which is, in fact, coming in from another dimension,
All right, so we are counting down on what's being called an earth-shattering announcement out of NASA. Experts calculating and speculating that the American Space Agency may have found life in outer space. What do you think, America, huh? Some form of extraterrestrial life on Titan, which is one of Saturn's moons. Michio Kaku is a theoretical physics professor, host of the Science Channel series Sci-Fi Science Physics of the Impossible, and he is one smart man. Good morning to you.
Morning.
It's been a while. Is this the real deal, or are you kind of iffy on this one?
Well, the only aliens that we've identified are in the United States Congress.
Now, tell the truth, Sunra. You tell the truth, Sunra. You never got to. You never did get to Jupiter. You never been to Jupiter, so that's true. But I've been to Saturn.
The last planet I remember is planet Saturn. I'm from there. I've been to Jupiter too. But I didn't go by myself. Some other type of beings took me, the ones that's going to land soon.
He did get a passport which said that he was not born of Earth, that he was from Saturn.
They got little antennas over the eyes and little antennas over the ears, one each over, one over each head, something like Spock.
Man might have come from God. Why couldn't he have come from Saturn?
Questioner. Well, how were you able to make the transition from Venus? Did you have to change your dimension to walk upon the Earth? Ra. You will remember the exercise of the wind. The dissolution into nothingness is the dissolution into unity, for there is no nothing. From the sixth dimension, we are capable of manipulating, by thought, the intelligent infinity present in each particle of light, or distorted light, so that we were able to clothe ourselves in a replica visible in the third density of our mind-body-spirit complexes in the sixth density. We were allowed this experiment by the council which guards this planet. Questioner. Where is this council located? Ra. This council is located in the octave, or eighth dimension, of the planet Saturn, taking its place in an area which you understand in third-dimensional terms as the rings.
But what we got here is a long object, and so he just lays a broad swath as a contrail, which you see as the ring.
There have been several people, Norman, who have talked about the possibility of some kind of massive size craft around Saturn. And sometimes you listen to it tongue-in-cheek, other times you sit back and go, that's not a bad little story. And you seem to be at least implying that there might be something out there.
Well, yeah.
Keeping the correct time has become difficult in the Sicilian city of Catania. When watches and clocks sped up by up to 20 minutes every day, experts were called in. They reckon electromagnetic differences during the maintenance work on a cable from the Italian mainland is to blame.
Welcome to the grand opening of our whatchamacallit.
Welcome, trans-dimensional visitors.
We have received your many gifts with gratitude.
We have built our society around the treasures you have sent.
Our most popular magazine is your President's Day mattress blowout insert.
Our favorite food is your banana peel.
And we listen to all our music on the most wonderful device ever created, the Zune. Zune, Zune, Zune.
Treasures? Gifts? You got it all wrong. That stuff is just our old...
Wonderful stuff. Enjoy it.
Zune.
I'm going back to VSI to complete the final stage of my evolution. I'm going to project myself into the mainframe computer. I'll become pure energy. Once I've entered the neural net, my birth cry will be the sound of every phone on this planet ringing in unison.
Listen to what you say. The first sign of psychosis is a Christ complex.
Cybercrime. Cybercrime.
Dealing with the admission that not only does the flicker rate on TV put you into a mesmerized, hypnotized, highly suggestible state, but that not only propaganda messages can be on what's being said on TV, that's one level of propaganda, and the flicker rate puts you in that suggestible state, but that that actual data that they can put signals in the flicker that can make you sick, make you angry, make you happy. This is mind control. You know, 100 years ago, how would a hypnotist hypnotize you? You know, they do it by having you watch a flashing light or a watch. Well, this is 21st century versions of that. You know, watch the watch, listen to me, do what I say. Many computer monitors and TV tubes, when displaying pulsed images, emit pulse electromagnetic fields of sufficient amplitudes to cause such excitation. It is therefore possible to manipulate the nervous system of a subject by pulsing images displayed on a nearby computer monitor or TV set for the latter. The image pulsing may be embedded in the program material, Did you hear that on the actual video that they're feeding into it? You know, the original signal, or it may be overlaid by modulating a video stream, either with an RF signal or as a video signal. The image displayed on the computer monitor may be pulsed effectively by a simple computer program for certain monitors. Pulsed electromagnetic fields capable of exciting sensory resonances in nearby subjects may be generated even as the display images are pulsed with a subliminal intensity. That means you don't know about it.
got a bone to pick with somebody, and I think his name is Jericho. Please welcome Saturn.
In the frozen Arctic Sea, a weird spaceship resembling the planet Saturn hovers over an ice peak. Aboard the craft, the satanic Saturnians are busily engaged in their sinister mission.
Our mission goes well, Commander.
Good. Once we flood this planet, there'll be no Earthmen left to resist our invasion. Lower the heat ring again.
Suffering starfish.
I can go anywhere. Friends to know and ways to grow. A reading rainbow.
Dina the diamond was incredibly small. She loved eating right and dreaming she was tall. Her imagination took flight. She soared to new heights and flew to McDonald's for a quick bite. She shined like a star and brightened the night. She's orbiting Earth and feeling dynamite. She shined like a star and brightened the night. She's orbiting Earth and feeling dynamite.
Would you like to swing on a star? Oh, oh, oh. Carry moonbeams home in a jar. Oh, oh, oh. And be better off than you are. Oh, oh, oh. Or would you rather go to Earth? An Earthling's a creature as plain as can be. He's not as unique as you or me. His body comes in lots of different shapes. They say his relatives were chimps and apes, but if you take my advice for what it's worth, you could be happy there on Earth. Or would you like to swing on a star? Oh, oh, oh. Carry moonbeams home in a jar. Oh, oh, oh. And be better off than you are. Oh, oh, oh. You could be swinging on a star. Yeah, yeah. You could be swinging on a star.
Saturn. Wir hassen teuer.
Switch me on, turn me up. Don't wanna go to ledges, cling to lust. Switch me on, turn me up. I want to touch you, you're just made for love.
Because all of this geometry, all of these standing waves, all of this patterning is due to the energy coming up from the center of Saturn, which is in fact coming in from another dimension.
and radio and telephones do not come from here. We have stations that are here. Go look at how many movies you'll see that seal of Saturn. I watched the movie the other day, and just about every shot had the seal of Saturn in it, because it's holding them in that position. When are you going to wake up? Wake up. That allowed this shit to happen. Because you wanted to watch American Idol and you thought you could dance. When are you gonna wake up? You wanted to be a star. A star is a fallen angel. That's why they're called movie stars. When are you gonna wake up? When you see the seal of Saturn in a movie in the background, you see this all over the place. It'll be in TV shows. It's because, and I'm pretty sure about this, if you go back and you read about Solomon in the Arabic versions especially, King Solomon, who was Jewish, understood how to hold demons, spiritual entities, against their will. And so Solomon's temple was built by these creatures, and sigils are very important because they create and they destroy and they do all kinds of stuff. Go read it. I'm pretty sure that the people that you think are movie stars are not humans at all. I think that they're being held against their will, and they're being used. They're being used to somebody else's agenda. That's what that seal of Saturn is. It represents a prison. And so the people that wield those and know how to do this. I told you a long time ago, TV and radio and telephones do not come from here. We have stations that are here. Go look at how many movies you'll see that seal of Saturn. I watched the movie the other day, and just about every shot had the seal of Saturn in it, because it's holding them in that position. Then they can't get out, so therefore they're being forced to do something they don't want to do. or, you know, I don't know. There's something much greater going on here. Just go read the rendition of King Solomon in the Arabic. When are you going to wake up? Wake up. Just go read the rendition of King Solomon in the Arabic, and you'll find out that they were being held there against their will. Wake up. Wake up. That 1,000-year reign is the same thing that Bush was doing with the thousand points of light. It's the same thing that Hitler was doing when he was trying to create the Third Reich and the 1,000-year reign of the Third Reich. When are you going to wake up?
1955. Here we have the 3 rings. Okay, there's the rings of Saturn. So we know that there's 3 rings going alternate directions on the planet Saturn. So they know something. We've got all these cubes here. They changed the logo to cubes. Okay.